All right, welcome to phase two of the beginner to manager course. This phase is all going to be on how to become the problem solver. And the reason that we really want to hone in on becoming the problem solver is because you will add massive amounts of value to your department by becoming the problem solver and solving high impact problems. And this will be what sets you apart from everyone else and puts you first in line for those raises and those promotions. So here is the roadmap that we're going to be going down for this phase. We are first going to learn how to identify problems. Then we're going to learn three different methods on how to solve different kinds of problems. Then we will talk about the MVP flywheel. And then we'll talk a little bit about smaller leadership roles that you can take on earlier before you actually are a leader that will set you up even more for that position. So in this video, we're actually going to go ahead and jump right into the very first one, how to identify problems. So pretty straightforward, but basically going back to what I said earlier, the reason why you want to identify and solve problems is because corporations and companies are value focused. The more value that you provide, the more they're going to want to invest in you, and the more that you're going to stand out amongst everyone else, the more they're going to want to, promote you and give you raises. And so really the first part of that is being able to identify those high impact problems that will set you out from everyone else once you've solved them. So here, the first point, to stand out, you want to be known again as a problem solver. That's what you want your identity to be. Now, how do you identify problems? Well, here are a couple of ideas, a couple of things that I have used in the past that have worked really well. The first one is, of course, obvious needs, right? This is your day to day. When I say the word, what is a big problem that your department or your team has, then, the first thing that comes to mind, things that are talked about in meetings, things that are, common complaints or concerns, right? Those top of mind things, those would be considered a high impact problem. Now, if you don't have any of those, or you want to keep building out, a list of problems to solve, you can move towards goals, your goals, your boss's goals, your department's goals, your company's goals, anything that you can do, any problem that you can solve that can further people's goals, that would be considered a high impact problem. And that would be something valuable for you to solve and to focus your time on. After that, areas that consume a lot of resources. We talked about that little bit when we were talking about the Eve method, where you can use the Eve method on your tasks that require or that consume a lot of your time. And that's a really good way to start out that method. But what you can also do is, as you can identify problems that other people have that you can solve, right? Because maybe they're doing processes that consume a lot of time that you're not doing so much. And if you can reduce the amount of time it takes to get that task or that process done, that's a high impact problem. You're saving a lot of resources. That's very, very valuable. So other areas, even ones that you're not fully into, other areas that consume a lot of resources are a good place to start. And then, of course, any KPIs, if you don't know, that stands for key performance indicator. Any of those that are out of scope, those would also be a good place to start identifying problems with. So this is a great place to start. Take this list, apply it to your department, to your team, and see if anything stands out. And once you have a list of problems, then we can go ahead and move on to the next video.